What up, guys? This is Tyler with Jabbas Podcast, and today I'm going to do a ranking of every single Star Wars show, in quotation marks. This list is going to take in every single Disney Plus era live action and animation show, Clone Wars, Rebels, 2D Clone Wars. The only shows that will not be included on this list are the Lego specials, just since those don't have any type of actual canonical storytelling elements. It's just for fun. Same thing with Visions, but Visions is at least a really put together show. So anyway, I went in and added every show in. So I'm just going to start grabbing them at random and tossing them in. So I'll get the ones I don't want to spend much time talking about out of the way first. Our tiers go S, A, B, C, D, F, and not watched. So let's go ahead and clear up the not watched section. So I have not watched Droids. I've watched the first episode. Oh, there's also the Ewok show, isn't there? Anyway, this is one of those shows I put on to go to sleep to, and I just never went back to it. It seems cute. I'll give it that. But anyway, it's going to stay in the not watched category. Also, Young Jedi Adventures. It's not for my age range. So, that's going to stay in the not watched category. I believe those are the only ones I have not watched anything from. So, from here, I'll also kind of knock out the lower ranking ones that I don't have much to say, and then I'll start grabbing, and maybe we'll get some S tiers thrown into this conversation. I'm gonna have to put Resistance in F, only for the fact that I don't understand the appeal, which I don't think anyone does, but for this era of storytelling, I watched season 1. I can't tell you anything. It caught that, right? Awesome. I don't remember much about season 1. I know season 2, I think, brings in some Poe, Dameron, and Kylo content as you inch into The Force Awakens. I think it has Hosni and Prime getting destroyed in the last couple episodes, or something included with that. But anyway, I don't really have much to say about it. If I actually gave it a full chance and watched it, it might go to D, but I doubt it's going to get into any higher than that. And also, I don't have much to say about Star Wars Visions. Visions, I only watched season 1. I've not watched anything from season 2. I'll put it in D. Yes, I know there's no real canonical storytelling going on, but I do appreciate the different art styles. Lucasfilm allowing studios to have fun with the property and do their own thing. It's just when I watch a Star Wars show, I like to have great storytelling. And yeah, there's some good stories in there from season 1. Ronan, his episode's really good. I enjoy the rabbit-ish girl story. I think it's up towards the end of the season. It's another one. There's another episode towards the end of the season that's really good. I think with like the Jedi Masters, like actually the Sith. It's something along that line. I have to revisit it, but it's not my thing. But I highly respect it. It's just not for me. So the last one I really don't have much to speak on is going to be Tales of the Empire, and I'm going to put it in D, but above Visions, because I'm more likely to want to watch this than Visions. Actually, I'm going to say Visions is better than Tales of the Empire. Tales of the Empire, great premise by the title. It just did not live up to the heights that Tales of the Jedi, which we'll get into. Tales of the Empire, you have stories based on Barriss and the lady from the Mando Ahsoka show. I feel bad I'm blanking on her name right now. But anyway, Barriss, I was never a fan of her in Clone Wars too much as a character. So her story arc, I felt like, landed even flatter than how we left off in Clone Wars. And the Night Sister character, I feel really bad I can't remember her name right now. Her episodes I did enjoy. Getting a Thrawn cameo was pretty awesome. Definitely her stories are the redeeming factor of the show, but you could definitely tell there was more focus put in on Barriss. And I mean, most people like Barriss from Clone Wars, so once again, the show was just not directed towards me. I'm gonna have to figure out what her character name is. Elizabeth. It was right on the tip of my tongue. I just couldn't think of it. So now I'm just going to pick Rebels. I think that Rebels is a good show, but it does have faults. The show was coming out when I was in high school, so definitely I was put off, and I didn't start watching it until season 2, just due to the fact that I'd heard that season 1 was a pretty good start if you just got over the really childish sections plus the animation quality. Animation I don't think is that bad. I just do prefer the modern Lucasfilm era animation style. But I'm not going to hold that against the show. What holds the show back from going super high is definitely when there's a filler episode. Same with Clone Wars. A filler episode is a filler episode. But when you get the best quality content, it is some of the best Star Wars storytelling possible. But sadly, I feel like the ratio isn't as good as the Clone Wars ratio. But Rebels is a high B. You ask me on a different day, it's an A. It might go up to A after I throw some of these around. We'll see. Next up, I'm going to pick... What is that? I grabbed Book of Boba Fett. I'm not a big hater on Book of Boba Fett. I think I have nostalgia for the time that this season came out, and same with Obi-Wan Kenobi. But looking back at it, I do recognize the flaws with the show's progression. I don't fall into the camp of people who think Boba should be this ruthless killer all the time, especially the time frame of the show. He wants to become, a leader. He was once abandoned by, Jabba, the bounty hunters, and now he wants to be a source of pride. I like the sort of redemption, but this comes off the high of his return in Mandalorian Season 2, where it was just the Boba we've wanted to see, killing people left and right and just, taking care of business. So I'm going to have to put this in C, and we'll see, no pun intended, if it goes to a B or not. Definitely the best parts of the show are the last, maybe not last 3 episodes, at least the Din Djarin centric episodes where Boba doesn't even show up. Just a really weird way they wanted to put the show out. And then, what follows continuity wise after this for the Mandoverse era characters are a little crazy to me. Next, we're going to grab the 2D Clone Wars. 2D Clone Wars, of course, originally aired as like shorts on Cartoon Network. I didn't watch these as they were coming out, but I did watch like the full 2-hour cut down movie version of it. I'm not gonna say cut down, but spliced together as a movie. Really great, fun sequences like Anakin and Ventress fighting on Yavin, Obi-Wan's duel with Dirge. You get the beginning of the Battle of Coruscant. General Grievous is at his peak. Introduction, Mace Windu punching out battle droids. It's an awesome, crazy animation style and storytelling. But when it comes down to trying to develop characters, it does not do the same as the 3D Clone Wars show. But I think for just what this show represents, it's going to be an A. If you haven't watched it and you just want to see some really cool, crazy things that happened during the Clone Wars, even though the show is not 100% canon anymore. Well, obviously the show is not canon, but I feel like a lot of the events can be looked around for the most part. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go and watch it. It's well worth your time. Next, I'm going to do Bad Batch. Bad Batch is a show that I was really excited for when it started. Season 1, I think, is really good. I love Crosshair through the entire show. Omega, definitely, by the end of the show, she wasn't as annoying to me, and I've come to enjoy her character. But the show could never figure out if it wanted to be Adventure of the Week or a clone rebellion against the Empire. It could never distinguish what it wanted to be, and I don't think they really knew what it was supposed to be. The episodes that focus on them going out and doing a mission for Sid and those like Creature of the Week, it's so repetitive and redundant. It's just the same regurgitation. And then by the end of season 3, Omega's been captured like 5 times by the Empire, and they're going back to rescue her again. But then you have the episodes like Crosshair and Commander Cody. You have Crosshair mowing down, I mean, it sounds horrible, but like when they're wiping out that village in season 1, Tech sacrifice in season 2. Like, it's similar to Rebels in the sense that when it has a really good episode, it's really good. But when it's just trying to have some filler, it's not that fun. Now, the filler episodes in Bad Batch, I think, are better than Rebels filler episodes, but Rebels has better storytelling and more frequent, really good sequences in the show. So Bad Batch to me is a B. We'll see if anything comes in between those. Next, I'm going to grab Tales of the Jedi. This show is what the Tales series should be. You focus on 2 characters that, number 1, are really interesting, and number 2, you add a level of depth, especially to Count Dooku, that wasn't necessarily even needed, but makes his character so much better. We get to see Dooku start to, have his flaws, and Qui-Gon as an apprentice course correcting him, but then having Dooku's trust in the Jedi waver and being seduced to the dark side and having to take down a member of the Jedi Council. And you could tell he doesn't want to, but he just, he's getting played. And Dooku is a character that, yes, he was on the bad guy side of the story, but he had good intentions. The Clone Wars show kind of makes him into a bit more of like a villainous character, because obviously he does the things that a hero shouldn't do, but his intentions on why he left the Jedi Order, you understand it. The Ahsoka episodes, I'm not as big on, but they're not not needed. Like, we get Ahsoka's childhood when she's a baby and being found by the Jedi Order. That's fun. I enjoyed the episode with her training with the clones. That's really fun. I'm not big on the Inquisitor episode. The Inquisitor design's cool, but it didn't add much for me. And there's the Ahsoka novel that it kind of contradicts. I've not read the novel, but I'm kind of a huge stickler when it comes to continuity, and you overwrote something that you didn't need to. So, all that being said, though, Tales of the Jedi, for right now, I want to put it in A. It might go down to B by the end of this, but currently, with what we have, I think it's an A quality, especially the Dooku. If this was just a Dooku show, it would be S. Regardless, let's move on to Skeleton Crew. The show over, for the entire Star Wars galaxy, there's no big galaxy wide problem going on. And it's probably the show that I remember the least amount of. But that's not a bad thing. This show is fun. The kid characters aren't annoying. There's heartfelt moments. There's humor. The bad guy is actually the bad guy. They don't try to pull a Din Djarin, the stereotypical trope, and same with Bad Batch and the Kenobi show, where disgruntled middle-aged guy takes care of a young child and, they stop their evil ways, or, The Last of Us type of storytelling. But, yeah, it's fun. We get back to the weird, zany side of Star Wars that shows like Andor don't hit on. We'll get to Andor later. But yeah, it's just silly, goofy, just fun Star Wars. I'm going to put it in high B also. Okay. So, next up, let's get the last Tales show out of the way. This is Tales of the Underworld. This one came out this year. After Tales of the Empire, I wasn't too excited about another Tales show. But we get this, and it's Cad Bane Adventures. I didn't touch on it with Bad Batch, but of course they do retcon something that happens in a book. But at least this time, it's not, we're just changing it. We're just adjusting the storytelling to fit what we're going to do. The Ventress episodes, to me, were my least favorite. but I would rather have watched Adventurous episodes than Cad Bane. Cad Bane's episodes also I thought were okay, but they didn't add too much to the character overall. Like, we found out he's a deadbeat dad. That's basically it. It doesn't do any kind of injustice that, say, like Book of Boba Fett would have done. But if I'm going to watch between these two, I would rather watch Book of Boba Fett. So, it is better than Empire, so I have hope that if we get another Tales short series, it can maybe bridge the gap between what these two are. Next up, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this show's one that I also have nostalgia for its release. However, I understand the faults of the show. I feel really bad for the actress that played Reva. She should not have gotten the hate that she did. But the show also did not know if it wanted to have an Inquisitor show premise or Obi-Wan and Vader, or even be a young a young Leia show. But when we get the awesome sequences in the show, such as their first meeting and Vader drags Kenobi through the fire, we have their last battle, we have Qui-Gon appearance, but then I just remembered about the whole Reva trying to go and kill Luke and kidnaps Luke as like a kid, and he's just supposed to like have forgotten about this entire thing by the time A New Hope happens. Yeah, I haven't really thought too much on that. I sent Brandon a preliminary tier ranking list. I'm sure this is going to look a lot different than what that one did. I think I had Kenobi higher than what I'm about to put it now. But, yeah. I would watch it over Underworld again. But, yeah. That actually kind of sucks. I remember it being better than what I'm thinking of right now. Next up, let's do Clone Wars. Seasons 1 through 3, kind of childish but fun shows. And then seasons 4 through 7, when you have peak Star Wars storytelling, it's some of the best. But those early seasons, and even a lot of people don't want to admit it, even the later seasons have some like dud filler stuff in it that just, people want to put Clone Wars up here. I can't do that with the amount of filler and childish stuff in the early seasons, and then plus some of the just meh arcs in like season, probably 5 and then 7. But yeah, when Clone Wars is amazing, it's amazing. But it's going in the A spot simply for the fact it fixes the prequels. Not saying they need it fixed, but it adds depth. And this is a show that anyone around my age group has at least watched when they were a kid. And it's so influential, such a great building block. And like I said, I can't stop praising when you have the great arcs and episodes in this show. It's the best. Next up, let's do The Mandalorian. If it was just season 1 and 2, and we didn't have anything else, it would go right here. The Mandalorian and I'm not exaggerating. The Mandalorian brought fun back to Star Wars after what the sequel trilogy had such a mixed reception. The Mandalorian was able to bring people's enjoyment back. Season 1 is really good. I like Season 1 for not touching on a lot of established characters. It's a lot of fresh world building. And then Season 2, Season 2 did start the whole, we're going to have cameos from legacy characters pop in and out. But at being the first show to kind of do that kind of stuff, Season 2 was great. Season 3, if I were ranking these by season, Season 3 would be all the way down here. Somewhere in through here. But the peak parts of Seasons 1 and 2 keep this show at an A. I would say that I would still rather watch Seasons 1 and 2 over these, but man, Season 3, not only did they course correct what they did in Book of Boba Fett, which I wasn't a fan of them fixing, because in I wasn't a fan of Book of Boba Fett course correcting that at the end. Also, I forgot to touch on that. I liked giving Grogu the chance to pick what he wants, but for the fact that it took place so quickly of him going to Luke, I think it's supposed to be like a year in universe, but to the viewer it was like a couple months after Season 2, maybe a year actually. It just didn't feel like it had that impact once we finally got Grogu back. And then Season 3 was just Mando and Grogu doing Mission of the Week with celebrities and fixing Din taking his helmet. It just didn't know what it wanted to be. The Dr. Pershing episode in Season 3, though, really fun. I like that. Because it is very similar to Andor. I'm not even gonna try to play. Andor's perfect. It's not Star Wars, and that's what makes it so good. You don't feel bogged down by lore, but yet at the same time the creators respect what's already established. You're not having legacy characters thrown in your face, and the very few that we get, you enjoy at every moment they're on screen, and they're not just there to make you go, I remember you from this. Like, the storytelling, the dialogue, the cinematography, the setting, the costumes, it's so real. Anyway, I should have probably done this show before doing Andor, because now I just have a bad taste in my mouth. Acolyte, it's going here in D. And I'm not an Acolyte hater because of the anti-woke movement saying everything under the sun about the show. I do not like the show for a multitude of reasons. We get 8 episodes. Why are some 20 minutes long? We're not developing these characters. The plot seems to dip in and out of feeling unique, but then also super predictable. Characters do certain, like the little white rodent dude. Why did he crash the ship? What? We get Plagueis. Everyone is so excited to see Plagueis, but he's a dude living in a cave. And he looks like a grotesque monster. Granted, we didn't get enough explanation, and we're not going to, sadly, of if that's actually how he is, or maybe he just was watching them from a cave. But he's supposed to be this nice. I don't want to go into the whole debate. The ending of the show did not stick the landing. But what I will say is I really enjoy Soul. He's definitely my favorite character in the show. And Chimere, he deserved way better. Definitely him and Soul are the highlights of this show. And I want more content revolving around Chimere. If we got season 2, I would be more than happy to watch it. But even if we got some solo content on Chimere, I want that. He seems like an awesome character. So lastly, that brings me to Ahsoka. Now, Ahsoka is a show that I feel like I warmed up to after its release, more so than watching it. Ahsoka kind of falls into the whole legacy characters showing up cameo, but they're kind of not cameos. They're the actual characters of the show. We get an awesome, Hayden Christensen return as Anakin segment. Balin is an awesome character. We get the return of Thrawn. But the only downside to the show for me is Ahsoka's portrayal. And I understand the critiques of she's not the same, happy person she was, because she was a kid during the Clone Wars, and now she's an adult and she's went through stuff. And especially in Rebels, she had the realization that Anakin is Vader. And while yes, that is true, I don't know, I feel like she felt more lively even in Mando and Book of Boba Fett than she did in her own show at the beginning. It's a show that I think it's probably it's on the better end of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. But there's just something about it where I feel like if season 2 delivers, it'll be so worth it. If season 2 falls flat, it's just gonna feel like another run-of-the-mill Disney Plus show. But with all that being said, I'm gonna have to put Ahsoka in a high B. It goes above Skeleton Crew for having more memorable moments than Skeleton Crew. I think with this list, looking over it really quick, I don't see anything I want to change for the most part. So I didn't expect to ramble on this long. So if you guys enjoy, thank you for watching. If you want to debate me in the comments, go ahead. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. So if you like this, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like on the video, and I will catch you next time.